good morning. I'm Stacy. Welcome to my channel. If you're returning, then I apologize. It's been a little bit. Thank you for your patience. If this is your first time, welcome. And introduce yourself in the comments down below. I love meeting new people, especially people who also love to read. Making those connections is really fun, and it just makes me really happy when I see a new comment on my video. I'm gonna do a check-in on where I'm at and go over June because it was such a really big month. This is attempt probably number 4 of me recording this, so I'm doing it a little differently this time in the hopes that it'll come out. So in June, I participated in a readathon, the Olympics readathon hosted by Shelf Space, and my team did not win, but that's okay. I did read about 10 books, so that's pretty awesome. And the highlights were my rereads and some of the self-pub books I read. So I reread The Quest Factor by Wilson Belshaw, which is a self-pub fantasy book that is absolutely hilarious. And I also read another self-pub book by a local author, The Land of Outcast by Joshua Gauthier, which is also fantasy and also very funny. So if you're interested in supporting some independent authors, you should check them out because they're both pretty good. I also reread Empress by Karen Miller. I read this when I was in high school, so it's been quite a while, and I remember enjoying it but really not liking the ending because it was not a happy ending. But as I've grown as a reader, I figured that might not bother me as much anymore. So I reread it. It is definitely not funny. Very gruesome, bloody, and has one of my favorite villainous characters. The main character, Hakat, is terrible and she does terrible things, but for some reason I just love reading her story. In July, I did read the sequel, which was not as interesting and a super bummer, but I think I'll still read the third book just to see if it's still good, but I don't know. I also reread the first 2 books of the Jane Yellow Rock series by Faith Hunter. This was probably my 3rd or 4th reread. These kinds of books are pure candy for me. They're not good. They're highly addicting, and that's probably all I have to say about that. I listened to The Forgotten Kingdom, which is the sequel to The Lost Queen. It is a historical fiction that focuses on a pair of siblings that may have influenced the Arthurian legend, specifically Merlin. And I loved the narration. I loved the narration in the first book. The narrator in the first book was absolutely amazing. And she does some in the second book as well, but there are also 2 new narrators. I was a little concerned that I wouldn't like one of them, but I loved them both. They're all really good at evoking the atmosphere and getting me really immersed in the storytelling. Just some of the best audiobooks that I've listened to. I'm super excited for the 3rd book to come out. There were also a few wonderful surprise reads, books that surprised me. And I don't mean books with twists. I did read Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, which had some twists in it, but it wasn't my favorite. It was just okay. But I had some books that I really enjoyed that really surprised me, and I think that's why I go into books not really reading into it or paying attention to the blurb on the back. I really like being surprised. One of the books that I read was Meddling Kids by Edgar Cantero. That book surprised me. It was great. It's a spoof on Scooby-Doo and horror tropes. It's a really funny book. The narrator sort of breaks the 4th wall sometimes, and also there's just a lot of self-awareness in the narration that I really enjoyed and was not expecting. It was also just not on my radar at all. I just picked it up randomly, and I'm so happy that I did because it was really great, really enjoyable, fun read. Also, Things in Jars by Jess Kidd was wonderful. The characters were delightful. I loved the magical elements in it. I wasn't expecting what was in it. I don't know how much people know about this book, like what's in it, but I was not expecting all the different little magical bits in it. But there's also so much more to it. There's a little bit of romance, a little bit of gothic, and some detective mystery in there. I really liked the characters. They were delightful. So good book. Overall, had a good June. That whole readathon had some really good, solid reads. Only a couple lows. There was the Dark Matter, which was okay, and then I also read volume 5 of Low, the comic book series, and that was disappointing. It was not good. It felt very, very rushed. There were things that would have been so much better if they had time to develop, but it was just all mashed together. Very sad, but oh well. Now, where I'm at currently, I think I'm not gonna do TBRs anymore because I'm so bad. Right now, I'm doing really terribly at making plans with reading. I mean, I have so many books that I've started and I'm reading like little bits here and there, and I keep going in between. I'm reading like 5-6 different books right now. And it's not like I'm starting a book and putting it down because I'm not interested. I can't keep my focus on one book right now for some reason. It's just, I'm all over the place. Probably because June was so crazy, and this is more the aftermath of my shredded attention span. But yeah, so the videos that I do are probably going to be a little bit more specific and less general. I have been doing some other things, so they might include some of my other hobbies sort of mashed in with the books. We'll see. I've got some ideas, so I hope you plan on sticking around and check them out. But yeah, thank you for watching and checking in. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.